It's a beautiful day for the race. Stooge Hand is the favorite today. Assault is in there.
Well, I got back day before yesterday from Calder after racing this filly. This is her breeze that she did, her work that she did previous to going to Calder, about 5 or 6 days out. And she was wonderful. She got a lot out of the first race down at Calder, and I have archived streams up on YouTube of how tired she was, because she was wasted, to say the least. And that's the way you want a horse. That's a race like that on a different surface, and come back tired and get them together. It's said to be 5, 6, 7 works, a race like that. This race was like going to a in-house dressage show or hunter show. She broke on top, which is a first for her. She's usually 4 or 5, somewhere in there, breaking out of the gate. And then soon after, her head went up in the air, and she was slowed. She was still in the hunt for a while, but as you can see here, and she does show tactical, because I've 2-minute licked her and then put some stuff on the end of a mile, and then galloped her out. She has tactical in her, and the jockey knows that. I told him that. But inordinately, it was like going to a hunter class, not a race, where they come out and the gate, and it's a horse race. I'm been fortunate most of my life to be around stakes and allowance horses. Not a lot. I've never really been around claiming trainers per se. I know some. I'm definitely not claiming kind of mind. High claiming, and all the guys do that. But when you get down to summertime at Calder, near Bottoms, it's a joke. We all remember growing up, or most of us, the professional gambler would, forget about ever gambling the last race. Well, at Calder, I would say pretty much every race. Unless you have the inside dope. Of course, I guess you could watch the jockeys and the trainers and handicap it that way, maybe. But stakes races, usually they clean up their act. And if they do funky stuff, it's more clandestine. They let the horses run. You're with jockeys that have more integrity in their profession. And don't get me wrong, I do not blame the jockey. He has a family to feed, and this one horse in this one race is not going to feed his family. This goes much, much higher up. And being that it's 2010 and not 1910, and we have ICAMs and all this and that can make an effort to clean the sport up, I suggest that we highly start using them at Calder in the summertime. And, or at least try to clean it up. Churchill's Downs Incorporated should be ashamed of themselves, but they're obviously not. Neither are the Wall Street guys. And neither are a lot of people that seem to get away with naughty stuff. My hero is T.J. Kelly. He had 5, 6 stakes and allowance horses only. He smiled to the barn. I think in his career he did 65 stakes races he won or something. But to me, having a few good men, or horses that is, in doing real racing and not this clandestine silly stuff. Not all racetracks do this. Sure, you have guys that are doing this. But the track itself, really, there are tracks that try to keep it racing and not look the other way. But I think that's why I think it goes way, way high up. That's why I think it's not the jockeys, it's not the trainers, it's the owner of Calder Racetrack, the owners. And I love racing when it's a race, not a pony show. It's supposed to be all about the gamblers, by the way, and she came out of the gate, went on top. He shortened her up, which was not the plan at all. Between myself and the jockey, and she had the inside rail, for heaven's sake. She's still sitting pretty here in this part of the race. She still had a shot at it, but he never asked her. Not once. And when he got off the horse, he sort of quickly walked away and over his shoulder said, "Oh, too bad she doesn't have enough gas still." Well, I have to tell you, folks, when I walked her myself from the racetrack back to the barn, it was not the horse the last previous race that was spent. And she was hauling on my right arm the whole time. And cooled her out in about 2 minutes. And a little bit of water. And she had 3 cc's of Lasix. So, and then when I did put her in the stall for a bit, she wanted out. It was like she was warmed up to race. Not that she did race. So I'm sure Calder's good for stakes still, because they're not going to fool around with that and jeopardize the big guys up in New York or wherever sending good horses down for their audience and gamblers. But in this case scenario, it really reminded me of Louisiana towns, but at least in Louisiana they let you run. Unless you're locked out of the jock's room, of course. You can't get a jockey, then you're really up the creek. But at least they let your horse run. So kudos for the Louisiana boys. Well, hopefully there are other people out there that they might be afraid to talk or say anything. I know there are a lot of people. I've had 4 or 5 trainers come up to me so far talking about Calder in the summertime. And this is an archive stream of the last race. This is when this mare is tired. Well, the morning we got off the van and she was on her tippy toes, and the next morning she was rearing and bucking on the Euro walker. And I worked her this morning, and she was just fine and dandy. So if you have something out there that needs to get its odds up and have a couple of get some air, go to Calder in the summertime. You can walk away in 1, maybe 2 starts with being, I don't know, 80 to 1. Okay, good luck.